Good Sunday morning to you. Guess what time it is? It is time for our Sunday Sports Chat. I am your host, Kendrick, with TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. We're going to give you the best 30 minutes or more. Just depends on how we feeling. Sports talk in these social media streets. Again, I am Kendrick, the host. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. And guess what? It is October 1st. September has flown by, and now we in October, and boy, oh boy, this year is just moving fast and moving furiously along, would you say? Now, first of all, make sure you come in and like the show. Make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channels. That's TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportZHustle. Make sure you like and follow TFG Sports Media on Facebook, and make sure you like and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook as well. And follow me, Kendrick Roline Henderson, on Facebook. I am now at over 3,000 followers, and I want to say thank you. But we ain't stopping. We got to keep going. Won't stop, can't stop, as Sean P. Diddy, Combs said, or Love, whatever his name is now. He changes his name just about as much as he changes his draws, I guess. So anyway, we're going to jump into this real quick. But before we get started, again, make sure you comment. Let me know you're watching. We're going to chat. We're going to talk a little bit. And I got my man that's going to be joining me. Let me go ahead and bring him in right now. That is KLTV Sports Director, my guy, Mr. Michael E. Coleman. Michael, how are you doing this Sunday morning?
I'm doing good, man. You know, the football season's had a lot of surprises, and I know we're going to get to it, but there's one particular team that still keeps people's attention, man, keeps them riveted.
And I want to know if you out there know what team Michael's talking about. I guarantee you can guess what team
it ain't Notre Dame.
Talking about. And we're going to jump into it. It ain't Notre Dame. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this thing right now. As Michael just mentioned, we're going to talk about this Colorado USC game that went down on yesterday. And if you turn your television, if you change the channel before after the first half, you missed the treat, because the second half, that game got real interesting in that second half, didn't it, Mike?
Oh, dude. I mean, I thought, okay, I'm going to turn over. I don't want to see a blowout. Let me turn over to Gunsmoke. I said, no, let me just stick around. Then the smoke began to rise. I didn't need to see Matt Dillon putting people in jail. Great performance by both quarterbacks. You know, I wouldn't expect anything less. I knew Caleb was going to do his thing because he won the Heisman, and he's there. But I'm really rooting for Shedeur Sanders, man. And he put on a show, man. He put on a show. And I got a buddy of mine, he's a hardcore SC guy. And I'm an SC guy, but I kind of like this story with Colorado. And he was telling me they're not there yet. And they're not there yet. Right. But I said, all I want to see is a competitive game. That's all. I don't want to see no more Oregon kind of game. I want to see a competitive game. And a competitive game for me was something within 10 to 12 points.
Right.
And look how it turned out. It was a touchdown and it was misguided onside kick. Not misguided, just not an executed onside kick.
Right.
But I think this is probably their most, to me, second most favorite game. The first being the Colorado State game.
Right.
And the other being yesterday.
Yeah.
Because, what they did yesterday, it makes sense to what they did to Nebraska and TCU.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
It puts that in perspective. You're right. You're exactly. Right, because they came into this game. I believe they was 20-point underdogs in this game as well.
22 in some circles.
Yeah, something like that. What's up, Terrence? Thanks for joining us. But let's go back to these quarterbacks. And it's all, and I'm rooting for Shedeur too as well. But there's some couple of things that I want to see Shedeur do a little bit better. I think he holds on to the ball too long.
No, he does. He does.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, but he didn't do that early on. So I don't, unless his guys got to open sooner, I don't know what that's about, because that really hasn't been a part of his game plan. And first time I really saw it was last week, you know. And then we saw it again yesterday, and I'm like, get rid of the ball, just get rid of it, That
just get rid of it. Right.
Exactly. So I don't know if he's trying to play hero ball or for the same compliments we give him as a player, sometimes it's not always good to do that. I mean, I don't know. You got to pick your battles when you're that quarterback. You got to pick it. He gets sacked a whole lot.
Yeah, he does. And that's because I think it goes back to what I said. Right. I think he wants to make the big play every time, but sometimes you just got to take what the defense give you and get rid of the ball. Because first of all, that offensive line is patchwork. Let's be honest with you.
Right.
Coach Prime has already said that his offensive line, he got to recruit. He got to get some bigger bodies. So and then the run game, I would say this, they did run the football a whole lot better yesterday.
Yeah,
and I think that definitely helps. I think they rushed for almost over 100, like 193 yards rushing yesterday. So I was impressed with that. I was also impressed with that young freshman wide receiver, Omarion Miller. This young fella came in and caught 7 balls for 196 yards. Obviously, most of it on that 65-yarder. But what was your thoughts on this young freshman that came in and did his thing?
Well, and although he got that 65-yarder, he still showed consistency in the short game. That cat catches that ball. He reminds me physically once he catches the ball of Tyreek Hill. Now, a little bit, because he's a physical guy, and Shedeur threw a pass. It was to the left sideline and the hash on the other side. And he made the sweet catch and had the presence of mind of how to elude the guy that was like on top of him. He got like, I don't know, a handful more yards, some more positive yards. And I said, wow, this dude. See, and that's what we don't know about this team. How many other players on that bench that can play like that at any position? They just haven't gotten the chance yet because of who's in front of them.
Right.
And so now,
and this is a time for them to shine. Yeah, with Travis Hunter.
And now when Travis Hunter gets back, you got two more wide receivers. Considering he plays both ways.
Yeah. Now let's talk about this other wide receiver that comes from wide receiver royalty. USC wide Brendan Rice. He had 5 catches for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was one of the things I was able to post earlier this week. That was going to be the 2 Hall of Fame fathers' sons were going to be matched up, Shiloh Sanders and Brendan Rice. Obviously, Shiloh didn't play yesterday because of that situation he had he was passing blood in his urine, so he wasn't allowed to play yesterday. But what was your thoughts on Brendan Rice for USC?
Well, that's the first time I got a chance to see him play. I knew about his history. I knew about his history at Colorado. And then going to USC. But the bigger picture for me in this scenario, you got 2 Hall of Famers who got kids that are picking up where they left off in some shape, form, or fashion, no matter what positions. They don't play the same position. Well, Shedeur doesn't. And it's fun watching the DNA. I mean, there's already a built-in audience. Guys like you and me, we're going to watch because you're the son of the Hall of Famer.
Right.
We watched it. It's like Patrick Mahomes. Your daddy played baseball, and now you doing it. So there's a lot of this going on now, especially with the brothers, that they got young seeds doing their thing, and they are where they are in the stature of professional sports. And I think it's so cool to watch, man. It's a lot of fun, and they're not failing.
Right. Yeah.
They play at the same level. They're not failing because they've been around somebody all their life who's.
Yeah, they've been in the limelight somewhat. Yeah. They know what it takes. They know, you got to work hard. So they get it.
That is so cool to see. And there's others. I mean, I'm saying there are others, but this is at such a high stature, high platform. It's like, wow, these cats here, we watched their daddies play and that kind of stuff. So I like that part of it. I think Colorado's going to be in every game the rest of the year.
I agree with that. I think so too. I think they are. Again, Coach Prime is building some. I think everybody. I don't know what the expectations were for Colorado. I know mine wasn't. I didn't expect Coach Prime to come in here and have these guys playing for no national championship. I knew that. I knew this was his first recruiting class. He had to come in here and change the whole culture. Rome isn't built in a day. So my thing is, I wasn't expecting him in here to come in and dominate. Actually, they've already exceeded expectations. They've won 3 games. You know what I mean? So I don't know why people are what their expectations are, but that's mine. Now let's talk about these 2 quarterbacks. I was reading on social media. We got people going back and forth between who's better, Caleb or Shedeur. Who you think is going to be the prototypical NFL quarterback? Yada yada yada. I just want to get your thoughts, Michael. What's your thoughts on both of these quarterbacks?
Well, we as sports fans, we got to quit trying to go for the shiniest. If somebody's shiny, there's a bunch of shiny cats out there that can play ball. It's like Ford, Cadillac, and Chevrolet.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, or 3, they all doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, pretty good. You're right.
Anybody being the best of those 3. And I think we as sports fans, we need to but it's for conversation's sake, and people that do what we do, they're the ones that put it out there like that.
Right.
I wish them both the best. I don't know who is the best. I just know each has their own game that works for them, and they make it work. It's like Lamar Jackson. We always got, Lamar's finally getting some respect, right? But he had to work a hard way to get there. These 2 don't have to do that. They don't have to do that. So for these debates, who's the best? Well, does it make a difference? Because if you're not the best, you don't get sent home. You go somewhere else.
You go somewhere else, right?
I'm not the best. I guess I got to hang my stuff up. No, it ain't like that.
No, it ain't.
It beats the false arguments of the Baker Mayfields of the world, of the Jason Herberts of the world. I mean, Herbert's okay. Baker Mayfield's making his own, but they came with so much hype that the expectation, I think, enhances our dislike of them as players, because you came in with all this hype. These two, we're seeing the hype, and we're seeing it work. And, when they get to the NFL, no different than most, because you always got to put an asterisk by Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
That's the only one. And maybe Dan Marino for his era.
And that's who Caleb, I've been listening to some analysts. They've been comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. And you've seen Patrick Mahomes up front. Mike, do you think that's a fair comparison? This kid, Caleb Williams and Patrick Mahomes?
I don't know if it's fair or not, because if it wasn't Mahomes, who would they compare him to?
Right.
Who they compare Mahomes to? They didn't.
They didn't. They didn't have any
college. They didn't.
They didn't.
Not once did I ever hear Randall Cunningham's name attached around to Patrick when he was in college.
That's true.
And so now that there is a precedent, we're gonna compare it to that. I didn't realize how tall is Caleb Williams.
He's like 6'3", isn't he?
Yeah. See, I was told he was like around 6 foot. I'm looking at this picture. Look at this picture here.
Because you can't really tell. I thought he was around 6'2" or 6'3". I just thought that.
I think when I heard him talking that he was less than, I'm like, he's just around 6 feet. Because to me, I think Shedeur was like 6'3", maybe 6'2".
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And here's my point. I think if Caleb is that height, he's easily fine, and we will.
Right.
Okay, he's going to have to adjust a different kind of way in the NFL.
Yeah, they saying he's 6'1". Yeah, you're right. They're saying he's 6'1". That's what they said.
If he's 6'1", he's probably 6 feet and some quarters.
Probably.
Okay,
right.
But he can still see. Hey, we've had quarterbacks less than that. I understand that, but his athleticism, I think, is stronger than Shedeur's, because Shedeur doesn't have to rely on as much as Caleb does. Although although Shedeur has a weaker line, he's a strapping guy, and he don't have the home run speed, but he knows when to take this. Okay, tuck and run. He knows when to do that, and he always pretty much has success doing that. And I think maybe sometimes he's not a physical quarterback. He's a finesse quarterback who's got physical traits.
Got the physical traits, right. So yeah, I agree with you. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not impressed with the USC as a team. I think their defense is.
No.
I mean, they got to score a whole bunch of points, because
I watched them the week before against Arizona State.
Right.
Late night. Went to our own little beverage spot we always go to.
Right.
But they ain't paying for no advertising, so I ain't saying their name.
I know that's right. For real. We don't need to.
But I watched that game, and for a minute there, I think for about 2.5 quarters, Arizona State was in that ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And they were making mistakes. And the thing I noticed about Caleb Williams, I noticed it in that game, and I noticed it Saturday. When he has a bad outing or a negative outing, he has a body language that just shrinks. Mm-hmm. I noticed it last week, and I saw some of it yesterday. Like, he'd be shaking his head like, dang. It's like, dude, you the man. Right. You won the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
So act like it. Act like it even when you had a bad play or a negative play.
Yeah,
that's what that's a cosmetic thing,
mm-hmm.
I think the best player in the NFL that was able to do that was probably Eli Manning. Eli Manning really was not. He wasn't going to shake you up, but he's got 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. And you know how I feel about Eli Manning. His facial expressions, he always is like he just ate something from Taco Bell, like he had to go to the
bathroom. So Caleb, to me, that's what Caleb has to do.
Yeah,
what Shedeur, you can't tell if it's a good play or a bad play when he's on the sidelines.
Yeah,
because he's strictly about to break. Okay, well, he's going to talk to somebody about what's going on. But they're both great quarterbacks. They're fun quarterbacks, and they both got a spot in the National Football League waiting on them.
I agree. So again, Colorado made that game very interesting the second half. They came up short 48-41. USC number 8. They'll probably move up, I'm assuming, a little bit.
You know what? I'll be surprised if they're 8th now.
Mm-hmm.
If they jump to 3, I'll be shocked.
I don't see them jump. I would be too, because Texas, they finally did their thing. They put Kansas away in that second half.
They did.
Georgia struggled with Auburn.
Yep.
I don't see them jumping up to 3, but they probably jump in the top 5. I would think.
Now the thing about Georgia, you mentioned that. When I saw the score on the screen, I'm like, whoa. Mm-hmm. It might have been a tight game. I'm like, because Georgia is Georgia.
Right.
It won't cost them. They won't drop.
No, they won't drop
because they're Georgia.
Right.
But I think if it might have been anybody else, there's a good chance they'd have dropped from that spot, given if they had the same finality as that Georgia game.
Right. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. Now, let's move to another quarterback, Mike, that we hadn't really talked a whole lot about until this week. After the injury to Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, they went back to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson has probably performed, less than stellar, I would say. And then it got out the news that Colin Kaepernick wrote a letter to the Jets looking to be added to the practice squad. I thought that was interesting. Mike, what's your take on this Colin Kaepernick letter to the Jets?
I didn't like it, man. Yeah. And I don't even think it should have been released. It should not have been released. And I don't think he should have wrote the letter. Yeah. I think he's won in what he was trying to define. Mm-hmm. And maybe not in the way we see it, but, the commissioner backtracked and all that stuff. They're going to do he's not going to get back in.
No, it's not. No.
It's not going to happen. And for him to write that letter, I wrote the letter. He probably social team people wrote the letter or something. But notice how we know about it. That can't be the first letter he's written. I'm just saying.
Right. It's not. I know it's not the first.
Yeah. See, I remember I said, well, why would you do that? Because to me, he's weakened his stance. It's been 5 years at least. Has it been 5 years?
No, it's been longer than that. He last played in the league in 2016.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the last. That's it.
Now, because you wouldn't Michael Jordan as an athlete. You could play quarterback. Mike can leave for a little bit and come back, but there's even limitations on him. Just because of the age factor. I didn't think that was cool. I think it was not a bad move. A move that wasn't necessary.
I'm kind of in agreement with you, because I think at this point, and again, let me say this: I supported Colin with his kneeling, and I still support what he was kneeling for. I get it. It was obviously his message was taken hostage by then former president, and the narrative was changed. But that's neither here nor there. But particularly about this letter, I think that at this point, man, it's just, it's sometimes I look at it like this: even when a relationship ends, and it may not even end it badly, or however it ended, just move on. I mean, it's just time. It's just sometimes things have run its course, and I think Colin wanted to play in the NFL. I think at this point it's run its course. Now, if you truly wanted to play football, why not go the other route? We got the USFL, you have the XFL, you got the Arena League. Why not start there and show that you still got it? Why are you adamant about trying to get it? I mean, that's my whole take.
And you're right, because they don't mind the publicity, good or bad. They getting publicity,
Right.
And see, and that's another thing. You're playing a team sport, because not only the NFL owners, now the coaches, they'll take anybody they can win with. Coaches don't have politics. I'm trying to win and save my job.
Right.
But no one trying to save their job that badly. And number two, the NFL or NFL franchise, by bringing on Kaepernick, ain't trying to be Bud Light, right? Bud Light, they sponsor the young lady, the LBGT, whatever the numbers are, and then some, and backfired on them, the whole thing. And they're still, I mean, these were the number one beers being sold in the world. Right. And they dropped a whole bunch, and so there's a precedence for, pardon my French, pissing people off at that in a public way.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody trying to repeat that at all. And I just, like you said, also, like you said, a couple other leagues, man. Why does it have to be the NFL?
Right. And then we already know you reached a settlement. You settled with the owners with the collusion, so you've been paid. And again, I understand, I get it, but like 7 years later, why?
Well, and one day we may find out that these occurrences occur from time to time to help the NFL continue their denying. We didn't really do anything or pay him anything. He keeps popping up, saying, listen, from time to time, just kind of pop up to help make our story, help sell our story. That's what this is doing. It's making the NFL look a whole lot better by him groveling to them.
Right. And I hate that. I'm with you. I don't like it. It's like you groveling, you begging a man for a job, man. And it's like, Colin, you got so much other stuff going on, brother.
And you got a bank account. You got a bank account.
Yeah, man. Just that's one part of your career. It was cool while it lasted. You had a little success. It's time to just go ahead and close that.
And you know what? And this
and move on.
And the outcome was probably the best outcome that could happen, because he was never going to come back and play.
Right. That wasn't going to happen.
You got the best case scenario.
Yeah.
And you got the money in your pocket more than you probably would have gotten if you had played.
Mm-hmm.
So just go speak do lectures and all that kind of stuff. If that's in you, but playing in the league ain't.
It ain't happening. So again, and the Jets got the Chiefs today, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. Right. So let's move on to the NFL. It's week 4, man, and we got a game going on right now over in London. We got the Jaguars and the Falcons. Jags are up 17-7 with 7:15 left in the third quarter. But we got some pretty decent games, some noon games coming up, Mike. I'm going to run through them. Want to get your take on it. We got, again, like I said, the Falcons at the Jaguars playing right now. The noon kickoff. I think this is the game all eyeballs going to be on, this noon game. Dolphins at the Bills, Broncos at the Bears, the Ravens at the Browns. Did find out Deshaun Watson is not playing. He will not start. They're starting the rookie for the Browns. You got the Bengals at the Titans, the Rams at the Colts. The Bucks at the Saints. Derek Carr will start, according to NFL Network. And the Commanders at the Eagles, which is a big NFC East game, and the Vikings at the Panthers. But I know all eyes is going to be on that Dolphins and Bills. Mike, what's your thoughts on the noon kickoff games?
Well, and they got Jalen Waddle back today. Miami does. He's the second most exciting and explosive player on that offense behind Tyreek Hill.
Right.
I think Miami's going to take it to them.
I think so too, Mike. I do.
I think they're going to take it to them.
I think this Miami team, I know it could change every week because we know the NFL, any given Sunday, anything can happen. But God dog, these Dolphins, that offense is explosive, man.
I mean, that McDaniels dude got them playing, man.
He do.
That's why that's what they mean when you cannot judge a book by its cover.
right. Because he looks like he looks like he looks like a nerd. And I mean that in a cool way.
Right.
Because being a nerd is always kind of looked at negative. No,
see, he's
a cool looking nerd.
Here's his danger as a coach, and you just said it. Nerd in the NFL is analytics.
Right. Yeah.
He's probably an analytics guy who can coach. Most coaches are one or the other. They're not about the analytics. The analytics got brought into the scene in the past 10 years or so, and you still have enough old school coaches that don't whatever.
Right.
But it's because it's the young assistant coaches are like, hey, listen, coach, I know you old school, but you look at the analytics. Well, him and the coach they ain't working for him though. He and the coach, the other McDaniel and McDaniels over at the Vegas. It ain't working for him.
Oh yeah, Josh. Yeah, it ain't working for him. Josh McDaniels. Yeah,
it ain't working for him, but it's working for the cat in Miami.
Right.
You think about a team loaded? They are loaded, man. I mean loaded with big play personnel. I mean. And for them to throttle Denver last week like they did, and I saw an article where the owners were upset with him for doing that. Except for one owner.
Well, I know the one owners that probably upset them, the Walmart crew. But why would you be? The name of the game is a score, and the name, and if you can't stop them, that's on you. That's on the Broncos.
We had Bentonville throw 92 points on Hawkins over the weekend.
I saw that.
Come on.
Hey, man, it is what it is at this point. So I'm with you, man. I think that game is definitely I'm gonna have my eyes on that one. And then the game of the teams that hadn't won, the Broncos at the Bears. Mike, what you think? Who you think is gonna finally get that first W?
They're gonna dub that the Stink Bowl, man.
They the Stink Bowl.
Shoot.
I agree, Terrence. I think I'm gonna
go with Denver. I think I'm gonna go with Denver.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, I like Justin Fields, but talk about somebody holding the ball too long. And he's just not making decisions, and their defense. I mean, they got a big mess going on there because the people who are now running the Bears are not the people who drafted Justin Fields. They didn't draft him. They're gone. I mean, Matt Nagy's with Kansas City in safe haven as an assistant coach. That's a safe haven. The assistant coach position is a safe haven. You get a taste of being that head coach. This is not my lane because he was there for 2 years. So I'm going with Denver only because I think Chicago is all messed up. Heck, they lost their defensive coordinator to some mysterious circumstances, FBI and all this kind of
they came out and they refuted the organization. They refuted that and said that was false. It was a rumor, and then they come back and said there could be some truth to it. Well, Pat McAfee came out with that and said he had sources that said
You know what? He's had the best report on this over anybody. I told our guy Joe that, but they got all that stuff swirling, and then on the field, it's got to be even more of a Groucho Marx movie because they don't know what the hell's going on. So it's not so much because I think Denver will dominate Chicago as much as it is. I think Chicago's going to shoot themselves in the foot, and I don't see that coach. I think his name is Eberflus.
Yeah, Eberflus. Yeah, he came from. He was a Colts defensive coordinator, I believe. Matt Eberflus. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of the man's name, but Eberflus. It's like, dude, where'd you come from?
Yeah, he was a DC at the coach, but I don't give a damn about them Bears because I could care less. They're a dumpster fire, and they will always be one in my mind.
Hey man, when they let Lovie Smith go, I lost a lot of respect for that organization.
Yeah, that was definitely that I didn't like that either, especially after he won. He was 10-6, I believe.
Oh yeah, man, he left. He 10-6, didn't make the playoffs, but that was because of how the playoffs were set up. He didn't set them up. He won.
Yeah, exactly. And I forgot about we got the Steelers at the Texans too, Mike.
Yeah,
that's a noon game.
I think it's gonna be an intriguing game.
I think that one is too, because CJ Stroud, he's showing a little something. That offensive line is patchwork down there, but outside of that, man, he's played pretty solid as a rookie. You know what I mean?
In today's game, moving forward, if you're a young hotshot rookie quarterback, and you get drafted in the first round, and like his case, way up there, they're gonna let you do your thing.
Yeah,
because they're trying to figure out what's best for you too, and just that. So no one's trying to put him in a box. Say, here's what you got to do. Say, hey, listen, this is what your strengths are. We're going to try to play to your strengths. And I think he had a good game last week, man.
Yeah, he did. He had a
good game. So we'll be keeping an eye on him. And I'm going to see what the Pickens kid does. Pickett.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
Yeah, Pickett. Yeah, Kenny Pickett. Yeah.
Kenny Pickett. So,
get it done.
Because they won last week, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They beat the Raiders, I believe.
Right. Wasn't he had a decent game, and it was the Raiders, but you play who's in front of your schedule, and that's what they did.
Right. Speaking of Raiders are the 305 window. We got the Raiders at the Chargers. As far as Raiders, Jimmy Garoppolo will not play. They will start a rookie at quarterback. We got the Raiders at Chargers, and then the 3:25 p.m. kickoffs. Obviously, we got the Patriots at the Cowboys. Cardinals at the 49ers. Let's go ahead and talk about the Patriots at the Cowboys. We got Zeke returning back to AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys are coming off that bad. I ain't going to say it's a bad loss. It was a disappointing loss, the way they lost their game to the Cardinals. What's your take on this Patriots at Cowboys?
Man, I don't know. I mean, it's like, how you going to try to hit your boy? Zeke, that was their boy, man. All-time leading rusher. I mean, I know before him, Dorsett and another running back who led the league in rushing. He's now an assistant running. He's a running back coach at Oklahoma. Murray, that's his name.
Oh yeah, DeMarco Murray. Yeah,
because he left. I think he left.
DeMarco Murray. Emmett left. Well, Emmett was left too.
Yeah. So now I think. I don't know what the age. I think Emmett left when he was older.
Oh yeah, he was older. Yeah,
I don't know about Murray. I don't know what age he was.
Murray was fairly young. No,
yeah, I thought that makes sense. That makes sense. So now you have, I think Murray was fairly young, who still had juice in the tank.
He had a little bit. Yeah, he was like in his late 20s. I want to say early.
This
30s
might be the adrenaline for Zeke to have the game that. Cause I don't think a lot of folks in Cowboy Kingdom were too thrilled about them getting rid of Zeke. I think they
the majority. I think you're right. I think it was more that didn't want him to leave than it was that was cool.
Yeah. And Tony Pollard's back there incubating. You got to put him out there. So the welcome for him is going to be tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I know that what's a 12, 13 point line or something like that.
Oh, I didn't even get to look at the line.
I think I saw something crawl, but
okay.
I just think because of Bill Belichick, this is a pick 'em. Given where the Cowboys are,
I'm kind of with you because I think the loss of Trevon Diggs is probably hurting him more than most people realize. I think I think that's and then that offensive line is banged up from what I'm reading.
Yeah.
I think Zach Martin is questionable, but I think Tyron Smith is out. I think I'm not sure, but they banged up. So
this is the kind of game New England can win.
Yep, I agree.
Because the Cowboys are coming in off that loss last week, and human nature when you're a professional athlete, I'm assuming, because it certainly happens when you play another ball. You still thinking about last week.
Right.
You still say, well, dang, I can't believe we lost. We got to put that aside. Now you're playing New England, who has a rep. I mean, you play the Cardinals, who really ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing to speak of in that trophy case. I mean, they
They're
must have a
nothing.
bunch of bobbleheads in that sucker. They ain't got no trophies.
Well, you know, they got an NFC Championship trophy. You know, Kurt Warner took it to the Super
That's true.
Bowl
Kurt
some
Warner.
years.
Kurt Warner.
Yeah, some years back against
He's the
Pittsburgh.
only. He's the
Years ago.
onlyest winner they ever had. You know,
The onlyest. There you go, Earl Campbell.
take an Earl Campbell. Take an Earl Campbell word.
Right,
but that's not the case with New England. They build new buildings for new trophies, and in the common denominator. And I know Belichick ain't what he was without Brady as he was with Brady, but Jones might rise to the occasion. He might rise to the occasion. And, you know, he's not a bad quarterback. He's
a game manager. You know, that's what we call
that's what he is.
He's a
game manager with some decent support that can really tilt the wind your direction. So I'm gonna call this a toss-up today. Because I want to see Dak have a good game.
Yeah, I do too.
That's what
that was a bad I'm sorry, that was a bad interception. And there's no such thing as a good interception, by the way.
No,
but that he just threw it right to the guy. I don't know what he saw.
You can't help but think we got San Francisco next week.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Do you got them? You look, man, and they go to San Fran if I'm not mistaken. Oh man, so yeah,
now
I'm with you. This is
it's conceivable. It's conceivable for them to lose today and win in San Francisco.
That's
conceivable.
That's conceivable, but
but not likely.
You know what? Ifs and ands were buts. We all will have nuts for Christmas. so we'll see what happens. And then obviously let's real talk. The Sunday night game, God dog it, we got the Chiefs at the Jets. We thought we was gonna see Pat Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers, but now it looks like we're gonna see Travis Kelce and doggone Taylor Swift. Go ahead, buddy.
A box office swap, you know. The good news and bad news. What's the good news?
Yeah.
What's the bad news? You ain't gonna have Aaron Rodgers. Oh shoot. What's the good news? Taylor Swift gonna be there.
Man.
Oh, the one that made the Chiefs Bears route game the most watched game of the season. Yeah, that one. All right, we can go there. Well, I.
Yeah, man.
And like I said in my highlights last week, I had a clip of her, and I showed Travis Kelce getting his touchdown catch, and I said, "Oh, and Patrick Mahomes was there too." You know,
right? By the way,
by the way.
Yeah. So your thoughts on this game? Just
all the pop culture stuff aside, although it is kind of impressive because I heard someone finally put it in perspective, and she said, "In our world," she referred to the NFL kingdom as our world. She said, "But people outside of the world we know got a chance to take a peek at behind the curtain, and they liked it."
Right.
You know, because they showed text messages like, how much is a touchdown worth? What's a field goal? How much is it? I mean, so they were getting an education of the game of football. Mm-hmm. I think it's America, man. We crazy, man. You know.
I know. I agree.
I was like, I don't know if you saw that picture of Usher in this red polka dotted outfit. Did you see that?
No, I did.
Oh, you need to look at it. It's red. It's red. And some people, I saw an article, the headline said, because he's going to do he's a
Super Bowl. Yeah, he's a Super Bowl performer this year. Yeah, right.
They want the NFL to rethink that decision because of that suit he wore.
Oh, stop it! They did stop.
But back to the. In fact, in my overnights, in my morning sports show that I tape overnight, I put a schedule of key games of the day. I put the Chiefs and the Swifties at the New York Jets.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I guarantee you that is going to probably be the most watched Sunday night football game. Probably,
whether it be it's going to be a route, okay? Yeah, and they're going to stick through and watch a route,
right? Oh yeah, no doubt.
The Swifties will,
right?
Exactly. They feel like we know the story on this one,
yeah.
So anyway, Swifties are there, but no, it's funny.
So we.
Well, I put real quick. You mentioned Pat McGee, right? He said, or McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
He said it so succinctly. He said, all these years, the NFL's like, how do we get more women to watch the game? How do we get more women to watch the game? And lo and behold, Taylor Swift falls in their laps.
Falls right in their lap. There you
Boom.
have it.
Skyrocketed prices, the jerseys, all.
Right. Yeah. Kelsey's jersey increased 400%.
And when it's over, there's going to be a whole bunch of hype because it's going to be over.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be over. It's
going to be over.
You know these athletes entertainer romances outside of.
They don't work.
Obviously, right now, Russell Wilson and Sierra is probably the one that we can.
Yeah, but see, Russell's not flamboyant. Russell's not flamboyant.
Right. You're right.
Or he's a quiet flamboyant.
You're right. Yeah, Travis is more flamboyant.
And he's been single a long time, and old habits die hard. Right. All that. I mean, he a player. There's nothing wrong with that. When you know.
Hey, yeah, you single until you're married.
Right.
Now,
if this is true, he's gonna be thinking, well, shoot, what I gotta watch out for what? Because he wants a woman with money, from what I've been reading.
Well, he got one because she got.
They talk about the last chick he had. His last woman he was with, who broke up with him. From what I understand, as we getting off into the gossip here, he was perturbed that she don't pick up half the tab on stuff.
Oh wow!
So, you need to kind of kick in a little bit.
Okay.
So that's been like social. That's the women thing going on.
Yeah.
Now he got the woman. Supposedly he kicking it with who make a buku bunch of coin.
Yeah.
I know he ain't gonna sit there when the tab comes. Sit there with look at her like. Well.
I want to see how he handled that one. I definitely want to see that one.
After the game, he rented a facility last week in Kansas City, a restaurant.
Okay.
After he and her and teammates at a private party, he closed it down, paid for the drinks of the patrons who were there, and they all got ushered out eventually. And people were like, "Dude, you're trying too hard."
So are they officially dating? See, nobody confirmed.
knows. See,
they reps said nobody has confirmed. That's why I ain't say they're idol. Okay, it hadn't been confirmed yet.
But this, it's like back in the 30s and 40s. You had the PR guys that did PR stunts, Marilyn Monroe's and
right.
All them cats back then. This is Atlanta Turner. To me, this is that scenario for now. Intentionally or not. Right. Intentionally or not. That's what it's become. Yeah. And we'll just kind of see where it lies, man.
All right. Well, we're gonna get in there. We'll see. We'll see tonight. We're gonna get into our last segment, Mike. There was a big fight last night that I was able to kind of find it. I can't tell my hookup because it was free, but I fell asleep because I was ready to see the real fight, and then these undercards took too long, and I fell asleep. So I missed the doggone fight. But if you missed it, Canelo Alvarez took out Jermell Charlo last night by unanimous decision in his third defense of his undisputed super middleweight championship. Two judges scored the fight 118 to 109. Third judge 119 to 108. Alvarez is ESPN's number 4 pound-for-pound boxer. Mike, this fight kind of flew under the radar. I follow boxing a little bit. I knew it was coming, but I totally forgot about it. What's your thoughts on Canelo Alvarez?
Hey man, and I missed it obviously, but I had just reading up on this fight leading into it. Canelo, man, Alvarez, this cat, man, he ain't playing. He done learned the hard way. He done learned the hard way, and he's gonna try to hang on. I mean, he's not an old guy, but when I say he's gonna try to hang on as long as he can, I think he so believes in himself. He deserves to be the champ for quite some time. And so when you face him in them four corners, that's the message. You're not going to take this away from me right now. I ain't ready to give it up. And that's what you got to go up against. And I can't remember who said it, and I just used it. And that person was saying, it was a boxer, a local boxer here in town. Kenneth Taylor, who won the IBA featherweight at the Oil at the Palace last week. And I had a chance to be ringside at. And I did a little story on him because he's a school teacher. And that's the story I did with him. And he said, I don't care who you are and what you do. You can't beat somebody, that just really believes in themselves. He says, I've gone through too much to get to this point. and I'm not going to just let you just take it from me. He said,
Right.
he emphasizes that to the kids. He tells them, hey, listen, if you have the true want for it, can't nobody take it away from you. And that's the way. That's what. Hey, Canelo, man, that's his
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing. From what I've seen him do.
yeah.
I'm taking on everybody. Come on, next.
Yeah, right, and that's what he said next. It's funny you went there. That's what he said
Okay.
next, because Alvarez, from his loss to when I first really started peeping him, that was when he fought Floyd Mayweather.
Right,
He
right.
was younger then, and
Right.
and he was a younger boxer. But man, since that his game has risen. He has risen, and again, I definitely think he's one of the pound for pound fighters, one of the best in the world. And he did say whoever's next, because he said he's going to fight again Cinco de Mayo. So he's like, whoever's next. Some names they've been throwing out there, Terrence Bud Crawford, but obviously Bud and Earl Spencer's got that rematch clause. That nobody has said when that's going to happen, but some are saying probably the beginning of next year that could happen. Between
boxing. You're right. Nobody know yet. It could be 2 days before the fight, and they get the word out.
Right, exactly,
unexpectedly. But no, yeah. I think no. I think the cat can do his thing, and I'm gonna try to watch his next fight, find a way to record it. That's the thing about boxing. Sometimes it's hard to find whatever setup you might have, whatever the case might be. Sometimes they're hard to find to watch than hockey games, according to hockey fans, because they have a hard time finding hockey. But
you're right about that. Yeah.
But the fight, I will say this, I think the fight game has really stepped up in the last 2 or 3 years to not what it was, but because the MMAs and the UFCs, they dominate the market, but there's still a niche, a strong niche for the boxing game.
I agree. Terrence says Charlo going up 2 weight classes proved to be way too much for him. I agree, because I think he was just saying that he's going to drop back down, and he wants to, as far as Charlo does, he wants to get at either Terrence Bud Crawford or Earl Spence.
He went up 2 weights. He went up 2 weights.
Yeah. Charlo went up 2 weights.
See, your body, man. I don't care how athletic you might be. Your body, it's tough to go up 1, but to go up 2, that's a whole different thing for your body as a boxer.
Yeah. Right, so he's gonna probably have to drop back down. So we got the heavyweight fight that was confirmed. I did some on that. We got the undisputed heavyweight championship fight that's gonna happen in December, early January, between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. That's going down in Saudi Arabia, either December the 23rd or early January. So those two will get it on to unify the heavyweight division, which we don't really talk about the heavyweight division anymore, Mike, like we used to.
Well, because the heavyweight. The heavyweight division, I think, has, and I think it speaks highly of it, has spoiled any future generations of heavyweights. I mean, you think about that division, and I don't mean, it probably began video wise, TV wise, or whatever, because in the 60s we didn't have near the technology we have today, but the 60s with a flamboyant Muhammad Ali, who was Dion of his day, talking noise, that kind of stuff, and getting away with it and pulling stuff off, and up through the Mike Tyson era, and I know what's the British cat's name? I never was a fan of him.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan.
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis. I wasn't either, but he's one of the top heavyweights.
He's one of the top heavyweights, and I can't take that away from him. Yeah. He just was a different kind of heavyweight. He's a good fighter, but he just didn't do nothing for me, I mean, and that's the thing. Yeah. I think people from our era, it's not enough to be a good fighter. You got to have a George Foreman has something going on besides boxing. Even Joe Frazier had a group called Joe Frazier and the Knockouts. Joe Frazier sang, and some people say he could barely talk.
I forgot about that. Y'all YouTube that. If you don't believe it, YouTube it. I'm sure you can find it, but you're right. Joe Frazier did. I remember seeing some video of that. Yeah.
So they had something besides boxing. They kept them in the news or in the world of sports anyway. You never heard anything about Lennox Lewis. We always heard too much about Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson,
but that's not but Lennox Lewis was a good champ. He just wasn't an engaging champ. He went there.
He wasn't engaging.
Even Holyfield, even if it's because he got his ear bit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he had something going on unintentionally.
Right.
But you're right.
He had
Today's
all them
heavyweights,
damn. He had all them damn kids.
all them damn
He
kids,
had
and
like
all them damn bedrooms in that mansion. I mean,
right, right.
I wonder how many of those
Well,
kids he made
probably
in that
where he.
mansion.
I was just getting ready to say. That's what I
I had to
said.
beat you to it. I know that's where you was going.
You beat me.
I know how you think. I had to beat you to it, man.
That's exactly where I was going. Man, you beat me to it. But anyway, Mike, that's a January. That's the January in us. We be thinking alike. But anyway, Mike, we're gonna get your last thoughts, man. What's your last thoughts on this Sunday morning?
I think the NFL season is I think every week we're in position now to get key NFL games, especially in the NFC. I want to see what Philly does to the Commanders. And all people are like, "Oh, what's wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles? They're not. Well, they're 4-0, man. Well, you mean what's wrong with them?
Right.
They're 4-0. I don't remember what they were a year ago at this time. I had no idea they'd be the team. You know, I think at that time I was trying to see if Jalen Hurts can get through it. You know, and he's done it once, so let's see where it's going. Let's just see how real Miami is. You know, their defense is going to have to hold some people down. You know, and although they play with an offense that appears to be their best defense, putting points on the board.
Exactly.
Know?
Yeah.
Let's see if Josh Allen can hold his turnovers down to none, and not put Miami in position. Because you get them the short field, they're going to pummel you. They're going to pummel you, man. So,
yeah, they're going to get it. They're going to get it done. You
right. I want to see what the Cowboys. I want to see. I'm very interested in the Cowboys. It's like, come on now, I've been pumping y'all up, and and then y'all like
this defense let us down. Yeah, that defense
they were down
let us down last
15-3.
week.
They were down 15. Even if Dak doesn't throw that pick, they're still a score down.
Right.
Last week.
Yeah.
So when they were down 15-3, that'd been the perfect time for Dak to say, "Come on, guys, get on my back. We going.
Let's go. Let's ride this thing."
But he didn't do that. He didn't.
And that's the criticism that he gets. And sometimes I think it's a little unfair, but a lot of it is like it's warranted.
Well,
a lot of it, you don't.
I got a good friend of mine I played ball with, and he's a big Cowboy fan. He said, "Man, I just don't think Dak's the guy." And I'm like defending Dak. No, dude. But since I've had that conversation, I'm like, man, I'm kind of jumping on the other side now because I believe, So I'm still hanging in there with him, but he's got a short window for me to think he can do the job. And I'm also wondering how much are they accelerating Trey Lance's development?
Oh, believe me, that's probably on the back burner. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. Because I think Dak's contract, extension wise, I think next season they may be looking at to try to extend him. So will they change the way they look at that with Trey Lance now in house? That's something that they may
Stephen
think
Jones
about.
in the past, like maybe once or twice, he's commented on they're going to give Dak his money. Anytime an owner or somebody close to the owner tells you this is going to happen, it usually don't happen.
Right.
It usually don't
especially
happen.
Right. Because there's with football and with football players, unfortunately, injuries and things that you don't see coming happen. So that changes your business model.
No, it does, man.
So I would never, if I was a player, I would never believe when an owner or somebody said, "Yo, we're gonna get you your money." Nah,
right.
That's kind of like believing a stripper really like you.
And you still giving her dollar bills, though.
You still giving her money. You thinking that she really like you. Stop it. She don't like you. She like
that's funny. She likes your money.
Yeah. So anyway, so my thoughts, Mike, I as much as it's gonna pain me to say this, and I did say this before the season started, I believe the Detroit Lions is definitely the best team in the NFC North. And I think that team is going to probably end up making the playoffs and make some noise.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I got
as much as it pains me to say that, because I think when
you're a big Green Bay fan, I understand.
And they came into Lambeau and they pretty much punched us in the mouth that first half. We tried, again, Jordan Love. I think he has talent, but it's going to be peaks and valleys with him all season. The offensive line is pretty much. We got injuries all over it. But just speaking on Detroit, I think Dan Campbell got those guys over there, man, balling. Jared Goff looks like a new quarterback. He doesn't look like the same Jared Goff that was in LA. Jahmyr
and he
Gibbs
won the Super Bowl. And he
right.
went to a Super
He
Bowl.
took him to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, took him to a Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Yeah.
To say
took him
that.
to the Super Bowl.
And
right.
obviously, McVay's like, yeah, this guy's not gonna work out for us. And he's bounced around, wasn't he? With he's the back.
No, he ain't bounced around. They traded him Detroit.
Okay,
he's been in Detroit ever since he left the Rams. So, and they got the kid Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama, and that was a great pick.
Yeah, it
was. I'm on St. Brown at wide receiver. That they have too, man. So Detroit, I think they are one of the teams that's flying under the radar that a lot of people aren't talking about, but I think they got some talent over there.
Well, and the reason why is because their history, that speaks for itself. Yeah. Once they get to the point where they can win a Thanksgiving Day game and 4 more games after it.
That's true.
That's okay. It might be something here,
true.
but it'd be good to see them become relevant. It'd be good.
So anyway, we're gonna end it, Mike. I know I'm gonna let you go. But if y'all haven't followed my guy Mike, make sure you check him out. He's a sports director, KLTV.com. Best high school football in East Texas. If you haven't,
let me brag real quick. Let me brag real
go
quick.
Ahead.
I usually don't do that. Last Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, the Red Zone had the highest viewership numbers ever.
Wow,
that's your audience, they're tuning in, and we appreciate it. Just keep making us look good, because we're gonna do all we can to make us look good. But thank y'all. Red Zone, the highest watched Red Zone ever, and I'm not trying. We dominate anyway, but we're kind of going against ourselves. So we're trying to raise that bar, and I think it speaks to the content that we have and the brand that it is. So thank your followers for that tip, man.
I appreciate that. Y'all make sure, if you haven't, go to your app store, download that app, Red Zone app. Again, you're gonna get the best comprehensive high school football in East Texas by my guy, KLTV Sports Director Michael Coleman and his crew. So, Mike, man, I always appreciate you coming on with me, brother. Love talking sports with you.
Love you, man.
We can talk hours and hours. So we holler at you, man. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, brother.
All right, thanks, man. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Peace out. You too. All right, guys. This is gonna wrap it up for TFG Sports Media. Mike then popped up. Okay, there we go. I want to thank you guys for popping in. Terrence, definitely thank you for watching. If you watch this later, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. That's TFG Sports Media, and Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportZHustle. Make sure you like and follow it on Facebook as well. And you can catch me. Go check out some of the stories on those channels. Get the views up. We're getting close to getting monetized, guys, on TFG Sports Media. I just need to get more watch hours. So go check out the videos. Check out some of the shorts. Breaking news. I'm gonna give it to you all straight with no chaser. And again, I just want to thank all those that have followed me on my personal Facebook profile, Kendrick Roline Henderson. If you actually want to donate and help me grow as a content creator, you can hit my Cash App. That's at $sign 1969 Kendrick. Make sure you follow me on Instagram as well. That's Kendrick 1969 on Instagram. And then on TikTok, you can follow me, Kendrick Henderson 51. So make sure you go follow me on all of those. Now, before I get out of here, I want to say this. Today is October 1st. It's the beginning of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as well as Domestic Violence Month. But definitely this is a very important, very near and dear to me, because this is the month that I lost my dear mother, Carolyn Louise Henderson, to breast cancer at the age of 53. Some will be 18 years ago, October the 27th. I always think about what would life be with my mother still here. And I think early detection would have had she would still be here. But unfortunately, God said otherwise. So again, I want you guys, ladies, make sure you get those tatas checked, breast cancer awareness, donate to any type of breast cancer awareness that you feel free to. But again, make sure you're getting those mammograms and do it in honor of my mother, if you so choose. If not, that's cool too. But again, I just that is something near and dear to me. Thanks, Terrence. I appreciate you dropping in. So again, I just want to put that out there. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Ladies, I want you to make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Get those tatas. And this show is dedicated in loving memory of my late mother, who died from stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, October 27, 2005, at the young age of 53. Mama, your oldest son, your first son, is trying to do his thing and also trying to keep your memory alive and also spread the word, breast cancer awareness. Make sure ladies get those tatas checked. So again, I am your sports guy, Kendrick, with TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Social. You all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I hope you have a great week. Make sure you keep it locked here for all your breaking sports news, sports stories, all that good stuff. So again, we will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.